How far do you ride back after a stage too? And then even camping the 48 hours?
Yeah, it changes. So our biggest morning road section was 500 Ks in the morning, sitting on your ass. 500 straight up in the morning. So you're up at, that was that day. I think we're up at 3, and then it takes you an hour to get ready. Leave at 4 or whatever, and send it for 500 Ks, and then we'll start our stage from that. So conditions, the temperature changes as well. So the more south you are, the warmer it is. So the start was about 28 to 24 during the day. And then once you got up more north, it's like 2 degrees, 4 degrees. It's like Alice Springs Mill during the winter, because it's all in the winter over there at the moment. So it's, otherwise we're racing 50 degrees there. So it's it changes. So we're wearing the big like snow ski-doo suits in the morning. Like we're full wrapped up, full puffer jacket, everything, just to stay warm, and heated gloves, just so we can save some energy on the road section, so we're not freezing, chattering. And then we're in rocky stuff. We can do 200. Well, every stage is different. They'll give us a brief of how many Ks of sand, stones, tracks every day.
Yep.
But the average, I think for the race, was 450 Ks a day was the race stage, and the average. But
what about even, like, we've all been on the road driving somewhere and you're starting to nod off when you talk about riding to the stage. Yeah. That's good, because you have had a shunt on one of the stages.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so like that's got to be, even that, it's almost like, you're nearly too close to home, and that's when you start to zone out. You'd have to stay switched on still for those rides, wouldn't you? You can't just like...
Well, that's exactly right. Like, I nearly died in 22 when I crashed on the road, and I hit a U-turn. We're on a freeway, and like, because it's dark, it was 4 o'clock in the morning, and then it was a 4-lane freeway, 130 k speed limit there. So I was sitting on about 115, 120 in the morning, just reading our road book, and I've looked up, and the 2 fast lanes, because I was passing a couple of cars and trucks like locals, and the 2 fast lanes went into a U-turn, curbed up, like boxed up, like a foot off the ground.
Shit.
And I was just looking down, and then I looked up. There's no paint on the curbs. There's no flashing lights. There was just a dark road.
Yeah.
And our lights on the bike weren't that flash. And that's when I saw that, and we had like snow gloves on that morning because it was super cold. 4 fingers on the front brake, and just went tuck the front, laid over, slid into, like I was on the ground sliding, like MotoGP crash, hit the curb, like full square curb. I think the impact was 100 Ks an hour. My body slid into it. And like I had full internal bleeding. I had the airbag jacket on from Alpine Star they make. So that pretty much saved my insides. Yeah, for sure, the whole life. And then, only broke the elbow from that. But then, I had all the internal bleeding. So that was scary. That was
you shattered that curb.
Yeah. The full curb chipped away because the bike hit it as well as me. So I tumbled 3 times down there, and then, I thought I was dead sliding into it. You've got that split second, you're going into a curb, and you just like hold your breath. You're just like, oh, well, I've had a good life, good 27 years, for that split 3 seconds sliding on the ground at 100 Ks an hour.
And it's not even in the race. Like that's
exactly right. And that's that was the weirdest thing. I'm like, how can you can't even put it to anything. It's like you're looking down the road book, like going, all right, next exiting this freeway in 2 Ks, and then you look up and you're locked in, because the curb wasn't like, I had no time to go over right or left or move. You're on 115 Ks an hour, and in the dark you couldn't even see it. So it was just slow down as quick as you can to try and wheelie it, and you don't know what's going to happen. Like, I just hit it, and I just blur it out. Like, it was a bit of a shit year, because that's when I was like, struggling with the team with the bike and everything. And I rode the old bike that year to prove them wrong, and then they won on the new bike that year, and then I didn't race that old bike again from there. So
it might be different to cars, but you always feel like you're under pressure to perform to keep your contract and stuff. Is that something when you get an injury like that, or that happens, or were you feeling, had you proven enough really to be? Yeah,
since I've started rally, I've always been in the best position, because I was the young guy coming in. Everyone else was aging out, so they only had 1, 2 years left, 3 years left in the sport, where I had the next 10 years really from when I started rally. And because you can go from, I'm 30 now, so I can probably go for another 8 years if everything's fit and healthy, and I'm feeling good and fast and fit, which I think I can do. So, and be really competitive still. So, I wasn't worried about the KTM's been a massive supporter of mine. I've rode for them this is my 10th year under the factory, under the brand, whether it was here in Australia or globally. So it's been good, but for the contract side of that, I've been in the best position, even with injury, because they know this stuff happens. But it's hard to explain to to the bosses, like how you crash on a road, like how like they just go, he's just a stupid idiot, can't even ride on the road section.
Yeah.
But I'm like, it's just something out of your control. You just got to forget it. Yeah, you nearly died, whatever, but move on, get to the next race. So it was hard that period, because I had to have like 6 surgeries. I had the surgery over there with a team doctor that was a surgeon from Austria, and he butchered my elbow, sent all the images back here, and I had to have full elbow construction again. Pull bone from the hip because they threw half the bone out, and I would have probably not even been able to use my elbow again. That's how bad it was after you go in overseas surgery, and you think you're with a doctor you can trust and he says he's good, this and that, and then you send it back to the Aussie guys here and they're like, get back on a plane.
Wow.
Where you're going straight under the knife when you get home.
I'm pretty sure that's what happened to McDoohan. Like, I think McDoohan's, because he did a similar injury to my left leg when I was in a road car accident, but he's like ended up had to have his ankle fused. He's had heaps of his leg removed through staph infection, I think it was. But that was, again, surgeries internationally that went wrong, I think. So,
the Australian medical system here is unreal, and the doctors, like, you find good surgeons, good doctors. Yeah, some hate moto riders, or guys, why are you going to get back on the bike? Oh, yeah, mate, I'm going back on tomorrow when I can. Yeah. But there's good ones around, and I'm thankful and lucky that I've got a good group of medical people behind me now. So that makes my life easier. I just need to get on a plane, fly over with drugs. If I break my leg, I'm flying back if I can. So to get to the best surgeon, because at the end of the day, it's my career. If a surgery goes wrong, it can wreck you. So
you say about taking painkillers. So just to jump in there, Barbs, but you did tell me at Adelaide at the Supercar round, we were chatting about injuries, and you said when you did your femur in Fink, you couldn't get picked up or something, and you had to sit in a car, just no painkillers, raw dogged it the whole way. 200-something kilometres with a broken femur.
Yeah, so I was on my way back on the Fink track, anyone that knows, and then it's 230 Ks down, 230 back, and I was like on the way home, about 110 to go to get back to the finish of the Fink track, and then, I just woke up on the ground. Like, I was just cruising, like, just having a normal day. I was just learning the track, so just going, talking myself to the corner, all right, stay outside here, because you got to learn it for the race. You got to know every bump, every corner, and you got to remember 230 Ks of it. And I was just doing that. I was literally making my own roadbook, write notes so I could GoPro it all and follow it. And then, I just woke up on the side of the track, and I hadn't snapped or broken a leg before. And I'm like, woke up. I'm like, oh, I don't even know what happened. I know where I am, but I'm like, all right, I've snapped my leg, and I've passed back out again, like from the pain. And then I woke up, and there was, my head was propped up, and there was 4 dudes around me, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. Like, that's like a blessing in disguise. I knew there was people behind me coming, because on the weekend there's a lot of riders there, and everyone helps everyone out. But I wasn't doing anything stupid like on the race. I was just doing my own thing, learning, and I had to get. They called the ambos. I had my phone out to try and call. That first time I woke up, no service out there. 000, nothing. I should have tried that SOS thing, but I didn't. I forgot. You're laying on the ground with a snap femur and you black out again. So, they got it. They called an ambo, but we already waited there for 20, 30 minutes. Like, they were going to send one out, and I'm like, done a femur. I'm like, all right, you got your arteries in there and stuff. And I'm like, it's not compound. So it's not out the skin. I don't think I'm bleeding now. I'm like, we just got to get to the hospital as quick as I can. Like, it's no good to stand in here. So, the boys rolled up. They were pre-running in a car, the Robinsons, and jumped in the front seat of their Land Cruiser with a snap femur, which I thought it was just a clean snap in one spot, but it was snapped in 2 spots. So I was just like, just got to get in the front seat. Like, we just got to get going, because you never know what's going to happen out here in Alice Springs. You ask for a helicopter. No, we don't have one. I'm like, perfect. That's good. So if you're out there with a life-threatening thing, it's it's not nice, especially with that race and how dangerous it is. That stuff happens all the time. So I was just lucky that group of guys were there to help, and I just had to bite my tongue and get in the front seat and sat there holding my leg as much as I can. And we had to go to the service road all the way back, which is 110 Ks to the finish. Then you got to do another 40 Ks into town from there or whatever. So. Snap femur, no painkillers. My leg I thought was straight, but it was at like 3-4 o'clock. The foot, because it was all turning, everything was just wobbling around, and you're trying to hold it there. And you know what the bone, if you've snapped the bone, you know what a bone feels like when it's touching each other and pinching, so it's sharp and not good. And you just go into survival mode. Like, I don't know, I can just switch off, and you just go. There's no point bitching and crying and whatever about it. You just gotta get to the hospital, because then I'm sure you're gonna get the morphine jabbed straight into you. But then when I had to get out of the front seat of the car onto a stretcher, that was next level. And they were shooting stuff up my nose, like to try and knock out some pain straight away. But it was tough. And then once I saw the brake, I was like, yeah, I'm not flying out of here. Yeah. I'm stuck here for surgery. So they did a pretty good job. Pretty good. They do a lot of trauma out there with everything that goes on. So yeah, I was thankful that I survived and I'm alive there. That was probably the next scariest thing after hitting the curb. So
that's such a wild story. I reckon, like that one you talk about, like it's just like, oh yeah, this happened, but fuck, I think it's the being conscious driving back to it. When you think about it now, all the stuff that runs through your mind is just like, I couldn't think of anything worse than sitting in the front of a car on a dirt road.
Yeah, chatter and all the corrugation. Yeah, and anyone who's been down that service road, I think they will know how rough it is as well. All the divots, the ditches,
there's no doubt half of them have probably whinged about a tired back sitting in the car.